He went to bed like any other night. No complaints. No obvious signs of distress. His family thought he would wake up in the morning and start his day the way he always did, with a cup of tea, the newspaper in hand, and a calm smile. But that morning never came. A 71-year-old man, once healthy and active, died peacefully in his sleep. No accidents, no heart attacks, just a silent, final goodbye. And while it may seem like a peaceful way to go, what happened that night raised questions that left his loved ones searching for answers. What went wrong? Could it have been prevented? Was there something in his routine, something he did before bed, that silently contributed to this tragedy? These are the questions that inspired a closer look into the bedtime habits many people over 70 follow without a second thought. Habits that may appear harmless but can quietly sabotage health, disturb vital body functions, and even push the body past its limit while we sleep. Tonight, we're not just telling a story, we're uncovering a truth that every older adult, every caregiver, and every family member needs to hear. As we age, sleep doesn't just serve as rest, it becomes recovery, repair, and survival. But what if the way we approach sleep is secretly destroying our bodies instead of healing them? What if common habits like eating late, overhydrating, staying up too long, or even sleeping in a room that's just a little too warm could put our hearts, brains, and systems under dangerous stress? The reality is, after 70, the body no longer bounces back the way it used to. What you could get away with at 40 or 50 becomes a serious health risk at 70 or beyond. That's why it's critical, urgently important, that we begin to understand what's really happening behind the scenes during sleep and how our nighttime behaviors could mean the difference between waking up tomorrow or not. Sleep is the body's most vulnerable state. Your heartbeat slows. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles relax. And during that time, your organs rely on your bedtime habits to keep functioning smoothly without interference. The food you've eaten, the temperature you're sleeping in, the stress hormones flowing through your body. All of these things play a role in either supporting or sabotaging your overnight health. For older adults, this is especially important. The cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive. The kidneys may not filter as efficiently. Blood sugar control weakens. Even small imbalances can trigger life-threatening complications overnight, many of which present no warning signs. You go to bed thinking all is well, unaware that your body is under silent strain. That's why we need to talk about the bedtime habits we often overlook. Because these are not just casual routines, they're health decisions made every night. And they matter more than most people realize. One of the most dangerous habits that silently hurts older people is eating too late at night. Think about it. Your digestive system is a working machine. It needs time to break down food, absorb nutrients, and manage energy. But when you eat a large meal close to bedtime, you force your body to stay active when it should be winding down. Instead of relaxing into a restorative state, your body is busy processing food, increasing stomach acid, and elevating blood pressure to push blood toward the stomach and intestines. For people over 70, this can be exhausting for the heart. A meal high in fat, sugar, or salt can spike blood sugar, raise nighttime blood pressure, and contribute to acid reflux. And here's the scary part. Many elderly people who die in their sleep had eaten a heavy dinner within 2 hours of bedtime. The strain that places on the heart and digestive system doesn't always cause pain, but it can be the tipping point for a system already struggling. Another habit that seems innocent but can be surprisingly dangerous is drinking too much water before bed. You've probably heard that staying hydrated is good for your health, and that's true. But timing is everything. Drinking large amounts of water late in the evening forces your kidneys to work overtime during the night. It leads to frequent urination, which breaks up your sleep cycles and increases the risk of falls, especially if you need to get up in the dark. But there's more to it than just bathroom trips. In older adults, kidneys are not as efficient, and excess fluid in the body can place pressure on the heart, potentially triggering fluid buildup in the lungs or raising blood pressure. And if someone has undiagnosed heart failure or kidney disease, drinking too much water too late can quietly worsen their condition overnight. That's why doctors recommend front-loading hydration during the day and tapering off fluid intake in the evening. Let's talk about something we often ignore: room temperature. You might not think the climate in your bedroom is a big deal, but for seniors, it absolutely is. The body relies on small changes in core temperature to guide sleep cycles. If your room is too hot, your body struggles to cool down. If it's too cold, your system kicks into alert mode to generate heat. Both extremes reduce sleep quality and increase stress on the body. In elderly individuals, thermoregulation, the ability to maintain a safe internal temperature, declines significantly. This makes them more susceptible to nighttime cardiovascular strain, which can quietly lead to problems like nighttime strokes or arrhythmias. A comfortable sleep environment, ideally between 60 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, promotes deeper, uninterrupted rest and reduces heart stress. Seniors who sleep in rooms that are too warm or too cold often wake up more tired, more irritable, and in worse health. It may sound simple, but adjusting your room temperature can be a life-saving habit. There's also a common mistake that older adults make in the name of staying busy, engaging in mentally or physically intense activities right before bed. Whether it's watching emotionally charged news, arguing with a family member, solving complicated puzzles, or exercising late in the evening, these behaviors spike adrenaline, increase heart rate, and stimulate the nervous system. That's the opposite of what the body needs before sleep. For someone over 70, whose nervous system is more sensitive, even minor stimulation can delay sleep onset, shorten deep sleep duration, and increase nighttime awakenings. And when the body doesn't get sufficient deep sleep, it doesn't just affect energy the next day. It slows down immune repair, destabilizes blood sugar, and strains the heart. Some seniors go to bed thinking they've done something good for themselves by staying mentally sharp, unaware that they've unintentionally activated their fight or flight system at the worst possible time. What makes this topic so critical is the fact that many elderly people live alone. No one sees what they eat. No one knows if they drank too much water or turned the heat up too high. There's no one to notice if they went to bed emotionally charged or physically stressed. And that's exactly how silent habits can quietly cause irreversible damage. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. The habits that seem harmless or small can add up, especially when practiced night after night, year after year. That's why this conversation is so urgent. Because for every one case that gets noticed, like the 71-year-old man who never woke up, there are countless others that go unreported, unexplored, and misunderstood. They say knowledge is power, but when it comes to our health, especially in our later years, knowledge is protection. It's peace of mind. It's the silent guardian that keeps us safe in the most vulnerable hours of the night. And yet, most people never receive this knowledge. They go through their days believing that if they feel okay, they're okay. That if something were wrong, they'd get a warning. But the truth is, many of the most dangerous health threats that strike during sleep give no clear warning at all. The body simply gives out. And it often happens after a pattern of seemingly harmless habits slowly wears it down over time. That's why we need to start treating bedtime like a sacred ritual, one that supports healing, restoration, and longevity. Because what we do in the final hour of our day could ultimately decide whether we wake up to see the next one. Let's take a moment to reflect on what really happens when we sleep. It's not just rest, it's repair. Every night, your brain flushes out waste. Your heart rate lowers. Your blood vessels relax. Your immune system activates. Your blood sugar stabilizes. It's like a reset button for the entire body. But that reset only works properly if we support it. When bedtime habits interfere with these natural healing processes, it's like unplugging a machine while it's still running. Sooner or later, something breaks. This is especially true for the elderly. As we age, the systems in our bodies don't have the same resilience. The heart doesn't pump as efficiently. The kidneys don't filter as quickly. The liver can't detox as effectively. So the margin for error becomes thinner. That's why one bad habit, just one, can be enough to send the entire system into a silent spiral. And yet, many older adults are never taught this. They are told to get plenty of sleep, but never shown how. They are prescribed medications that induce sleep but are never guided through creating a sleep environment that supports deep, natural rest. They are warned about heart attacks and strokes but rarely informed that the timing and pattern of those events often correlates with poor sleep hygiene. Sleep is not just a luxury or a passive activity. It is a vital health function, and bedtime is when we prepare the body to succeed or to struggle. Imagine if we could shift the way older adults approach bedtime. Imagine if every senior had a personalized, gentle nighttime routine that nourished their body and reduced risk. How many tragedies could we prevent? We also need to consider how emotions play a role in sleep health. Going to bed worried, anxious, or upset causes cortisol, a stress hormone, to spike. In younger people, that may simply lead to restless sleep. But in older adults, cortisol affects everything from blood pressure to heart rhythm. Many seniors go to bed with heavy thoughts, worries about money, health, children, loneliness. These mental burdens don't just sit in the brain, they manifest physically. They raise heart rate, tighten muscles, and disturb breathing patterns. For someone over 70, especially with pre-existing conditions, this creates a ticking time bomb. That's why creating emotional calm before sleep is just as important as managing food, hydration, and environment. Gentle breathing, prayer, soft music, or even simply writing down one thing they're grateful for can make a world of difference. And we must address the role of sleep medications. Many older adults are prescribed pills to help them fall asleep, but these medications often come with side effects, dizziness, confusion, increased risk of falls, or even heart suppression. While medication may seem like a solution, it's rarely a sustainable or safe one, especially without addressing the root causes of poor sleep. Seniors must be educated about non-medication methods first, adjusting light exposure, reducing screen time, limiting caffeine, and sticking to consistent sleep schedules. The irony is that many seniors rely on sleep pills because their natural sleep drive has been weakened by years of poor habits. If we reverse the habits, we often restore the sleep. It's also crucial to mention the impact of loneliness on sleep. Older people who live alone tend to sleep less soundly. They're more prone to nighttime anxiety, hypervigilance, and disruptions. The absence of another person creates a sense of vulnerability, even if they don't consciously realize it. That's why having pets, phone check-ins, or even background audio like soft classical music can help ease the nervous system. Connection, even in subtle forms, helps the brain feel safe. And safety is a key ingredient for deep sleep. When the brain feels protected, it allows the body to fully relax. But when it feels alone or unsafe, it stays partially alert, and that half-sleep state isn't just uncomfortable, it's damaging over time. Another overlooked element is lighting. Exposure to bright lights in the evening, especially blue light from screens, can suppress melatonin production, the hormone responsible for making us sleepy. Older adults are particularly sensitive to this disruption. Watching TV or scrolling on phones right before bed doesn't just delay sleep, it alters the body's entire circadian rhythm. That's why it's recommended to dim lights in the house an hour before bed. Use warm lighting. Turn off the TV. Avoid scrolling. Let the body know that the day is ending and it's time to power down. This simple change can drastically improve sleep quality, especially for those who feel tired but wired. We also need to acknowledge that the need for consistent sleep schedules grows stronger with age. Going to bed and waking up at different times confuses the body's natural clock. It disrupts hormone cycles, affects appetite, and even increases the risk of depression. Seniors often lose the structure that came from jobs or raising families. Without that structure, their schedules become irregular, and so does their sleep. Reintroducing structure is powerful. Waking up at the same time every day, eating meals at regular intervals, and setting a consistent bedtime can recalibrate the body's internal rhythm. It gives the brain predictability, and that predictability helps deepen sleep and protect health. Physical comfort is another pillar of good sleep. For seniors, aches and pains can make lying in bed uncomfortable, leading to tossing, turning, and waking up frequently. Investing in a quality mattress, using pillows that support joints, and adjusting sleeping positions can dramatically reduce nighttime discomfort. But most importantly, pain should not be normalized. If an older person is waking up in pain, that's a red flag. Chronic discomfort not only ruins sleep but also signals underlying issues that may require medical attention. Addressing pain directly, not masking it with sleep medications, is a key part of building a healthy bedtime routine. Finally, we have to talk about self-awareness. One of the most powerful tools for improving sleep is simply paying attention. How do you feel when you wake up? Are you groggy, dizzy, or unsteady? Do you wake up multiple times during the night? Are you sweating or cold? These are signs the body is trying to communicate something. Most older people ignore these signals. They assume poor sleep is just part of aging, but it's not. It's a message, a call to examine what's happening before bed. Are the lights too bright? Is the room too warm? Did you eat too late? Are you stressed? With the right awareness, most of these problems can be solved.